number of years ago, I was absolutely fascinated with some computer engines after I retired from tournament chess, and I was studying computer programs. But soon I got disappointed with their inability of positional play, maneuvering, and they were making some positional errors. And all the programs like Fritz, Hayarks, Junior, and they were making same types of mistakes, and they had big difficulties to improve their positional skills. So I stayed away from computer chess until not too long ago, less than a year ago maybe, I heard there is a new program called Rybka. I never paid close attention to it because what's the difference? Rybka, Fritz, Hayarks, and they're all the same, about on the same level. But then I heard from a number of people, oh, the Rybka is much better than some other programs. But I heard this so many times. This Fritz is much better than Junior, Junior is better than Hayarks, then Fritz is better than and all this didn't mean much to me, because when I was comparing, I hardly saw any difference between them. They are all think alike. But then I heard that Rybka played some matches. There was money involved. Money was on the stake against a couple of pretty strong grandmasters, Joel Benjamin and Jan Elvest. And the fascinating part in this match that they were all four of them, they both played 2 matches each, and all 4 matches were with a big handicap. That was about a year ago, or maybe longer a little, when it started, and there was handicap of Rybka would give pawn odds, or Rybka will give draw odds and white pieces, first move and draw odds. And every one of these 4 matches, Rybka won very, very convincingly with several points of advantage. And it was not blitz, it was slower games. And I found it very hard to believe, and I looked at the games and I saw very strong positional and obviously tactical play, and I was very fascinated, really. And I had a reputation of fairly good player against computers, because when I played on the internet chess, and I was offered to play training match against Rybka. Well, it was much improved Rybka almost after a year from last match, and it wasn't a 2-core processor, it was 4-core processor. So it was a lot improved version, and organizers of the match, they went as far as offering me conditions to give me like pawn odds and move odds. That means I would play white, and I have from A to H every pawn, sort of first game A pawn, second game B pawn, and so on. I would never accepted those conditions against anyone in the world, because I don't think anyone on this planet can give any average grandmaster, and I consider myself at least an average grandmaster, pawn and move. But well, I know it wouldn't be very humiliating even if I lose to Rybka, because she already had certain reputation, and I decided to play. Now, the match ended with totally unbelievable score, 4-4, and the reason it happened, I got incredibly lucky, and I have to, I mean, it's a sheer coincidence. It's absolutely that it happened. Rybka got, I was extremely lucky. And I want to show you just a couple of games from this match, couple of games that clearly indicating strength and powerful play of Rybka. And it's interesting that one of the two games I want to show you, I won one and I drew one, but there is a very good reason to show you these two games. There is a very good reason for it. And the first game I will show you why I drew the match. It was a draw. I got extremely lucky, and I got lucky more than once. That's why the score was 4-4. And the second game, I have a very good reason for it, very good reason for showing it to you. So the first game, e4, the Rybka plays without the f pawn. So the first game, e4, e6, d4, d5. Well, obviously my strategy in this match was to play very simple positions. Against anyone in the world, under any circumstances, I would have played e5 here, and this is very strong position for white, but I played e takes d, and queen h5 check. This by force exchanges queens. I knew all this, most of this Rybka strengths, but I didn't know how can this program create play when you don't see it, slowly how it can take initiative. No other program I saw doing it nearly as well. After queen h5 check, g6, queen e5, attacking h8 rook, queen e7 is forced, queen takes e7, knight takes e7, bishop f4, knight f5 attacking d4 pawn, knight f3 and bishop g7, c3. Of course, my strategy is just to keep position as simple as possible. c3, knight d6. Now knight d6, I don't want to take on d6 because black controls every square in the center. So after knight d6, I played bishop e5. I want to exchange dark square bishops, castle, bishop takes g7, king takes g7. We got, well, here I am. I got an extra pawn, queens off the board, and I'm very happy. I played bishop d3 here, and Rybka played the move here that I did expect, but I didn't think it would do anything. Bishop h3, and I went knight h4. Bishop h3 does not really create any big threats. Eventually bishop has to go back. So now rook e8 check, king f1, bishop e6, knight d2, knight d7, and here I realized that I'm having certain problems. The problems I'm having here is with concluding my kingside development. how to bring rook into the game, what to do with my king. I went knight h2 f3, and here Rybka played c5. Here black has to open position. That's obvious. They have to create counterplay before white clears what they do with the king on f1. After c5, rook e1, knight c4, and I see from very simple position I started having a problem. Bishop takes c4, d takes c, knight g5. Black goes bishop g8, and I'm making here desperate attempt to bring my king into the game, to open my rook, to go f3, king f2, and my rook will be free. Obviously I don't want to take on c5, because after knight takes c5, knight will come to d3. And very logical move by me, f3. Rook takes e1, king takes e1, c takes d, c takes d, and here is very powerful move by black that I overlooked, rook d8, which wins the d4 pawn. But I realized already that I'm not going to keep an extra pawn. I want to safely finish development and make a draw. Here I am playing for a draw only. King e2, knight f6, knight ge4, rook takes d4, knight takes f6, and king takes f6. Now, evaluating this position, black is a little better because there are pawns on both sides of the board, and bishop in this case is a little better than knight. But keep in mind that there's still a lot of pawns on the board. Knight is a good piece here as well. So I went rook c5, b5, I went b3, and here king e5. I played b takes c, bishop takes c4, and I didn't think Rybka would go for this pawn ending, but knight takes c4, and here rook takes c4, forcing pawn ending. White must take the rook. Now, if white plays rook b1, I didn't want to make this move because rook c2 check, and I have to go king f1, and now black can simply go a6, and white has passive rook, passive king, and in the rook endings it may be critical, decisive. So I didn't do that. So in this position I'm forced to take. Rybka took back, and this position was evaluated by Rybka as a win. That's what I found out from the operator of the Rybka and the programmer, Rybka programmer, and my good friend, strong chess player, international master Larry Kaufman. And Rybka thought that was winning. And that's why I am showing you this game. I will show you, this is not a win, this is a draw, but Rybka saw as far as a winning a pawn in king and pawn ending, having pass pawn, which in 99% of the cases is easy win. But what happened here, when you have 5 pieces or less left on the board of total, every position is known to theory. Every position, there are millions of positions, whether they're queens on the board or rooks or knights, if total number of pieces is 5, there are table bases and everything is known that you don't have to be figuring out. Those table bases program was not input on that machine, on Rybka's program, and that's why Rybka did win a pawn the way she anticipated, but it turned out that position was a draw. Now, do I take credit for making draw that way? No. I was going with the flow, and every move I made was absolutely forced, and I never had choices. I got extremely lucky that game was drawn. I got lucky like this a couple of more times in the match. That's why match was drawn. Well, let's see what happened in this position. King e3, g5. Everything was seen by Rybka. g5, I went g3, and everything is absolutely forced. h5, a4, a6, and a5, and black plays h4. G takes h, g takes h. I have no choice. I have to go f4 here. I cannot let king on f4, and I cannot go h3 because after c3 and king f4 black wins. I have to go f4 check, king f5, king d4. That's the position that was seen by Rybka. King takes f4. No, actually Rybka played c3 here, but king takes f4 is the same. Here Rybka already saw that game is a draw, and it's nothing can be done here. c3, king takes c3, king takes f4, king d4, king g4, king e3, king h3, and king f3. And after king takes pawn, king f2. You see, there is no way black can win. Black went king h3, king f3. If black wants to get out with the king, then h3. We go king f1, king g1, and king g3, and king g1. This is theoretical draw. When Rybka saw it, it was too late because she didn't have to analyze that position if she had table bases put in the program. But now nothing can be done, and it's a draw. King f3, king h2, and there is a critical square c1 for white's king that white makes there on time. King g3, king c4, king f3, king b5, king e3, king takes a5, king d2, king b4, king c1 with an easy draw. I got extremely lucky to draw this position. Now, this is one reason. I got lucky like this, as I already mentioned, at least 2-3 more times. That's why I drew the match.